What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the X-Transbots Neptune, and I really wanted to do this review because this is a toy that ever since I got it, I really have been unable to put it down. I picked this up on a whim. I had some store credit that I needed to use, and I saw generally positive reviews on this guy, and I said, why not? I'll try him out. I had no intention of replacing my Fans Toys one, but you know what? The Fans Toys one is not nearly as good. So let's get it right out of the way here. Here is the Fans Toys one. You can see overall it's a smaller hovercraft here. It's smaller, it's narrower. Yeah, everything about the Fans Toys one is smaller. In some senses, I like that better because this is a little bit more of a compact toy. But this one really looks better, and in my opinion, captures the essence of Seaspray a lot better. You do have like little details on the windows that are really hard to pick out, but there's windshield wipers built in on both sets of windows. Like, that's stuff they didn't have to do. This little gun turret that swivels up there, that's really nice. So the only thing I can really give the Fans Toys one the edge on is the Seaspray test, as I like to call it. If you go ahead and put just a little bit of mild wind at the back of the propeller, nothing on the X-Transbots. Same wind. Passes the Seaspray test, but this one unfortunately does not. But we really can't hold it against it for that. Now I will say, if you're putting this in on a Masterpiece collection, like I said, this could feel a little bit big. Overall, it's about the same size as an MP car, width and length. You can see just kind of the Fans Toys one does work a little bit better, I think, as a mini bot, but I don't know. I think the important part is not really the alt mode for a mini bot, but the robot mode. And if you want Bumblebee riding on the back, you can of course attach all the effect parts. The skis here do clip onto Bumblebee here, and it is a fairly solid clip, so they hold on just fine. The whole thing works just fine. So a quick look at some of the accessories. He comes with a shovel and a little sand pail, a beach ball, nicely painted. I guess it's the toy head with like the visor and stuff. And he comes with like a replacement set of red eyes here. So let's get Seaspray to his robot mode. We'll start by doing this, and I like to work on the legs first. Of course, once we have this open, flip this piece, which can be really difficult to do, down, and it has to clear that leg piece to come down. Do that again on this side, like so. That'll let you bring this whole piece up and out of the way, and then we can take this little piece and rotate it down, and we can bring that back up. From here, start bringing this around, unclip this, put it in position, and then that kind of tabs in to fill out the foot. So we'll do that again on this side, get that out of the way, fold this little piece down, bring it back, fold it part way around, rotate that all the way around, and peg it in place. Now with the knee, you want to pull it all the way up until it clips in position. That was hard to hear because I was talking, but when it's pulled up, it'll lock in place. So you want to have them up all the way. Now we do want to mess with this crotch piece, but I always forget how it's supposed to go until we get there. So for now, we'll just leave it like this, and we'll get back to that shortly. So looking at the upper piece, we're going to open this bit up. Make sure that the bottom piece is all the way down. If it's not going to work quite right. We're going to take this, kind of pull forward on that. That's going to let this whole piece flip down. And with his head back here, like that, pull that back. Take these pieces, kind of rotate them in, and what that's going to let you do is actually squish that piece together, which will actually bring them perfectly down, like so. From here, you should be able to peg the backpack, or the, I don't know, what is that? Kind of like your shoulder pack, I guess. I'm not really sure. Peg that in, rotate this guy on around. And from this point you can see that our hips sit way too far back. So this is where you're going to figure out exactly how they're supposed to go by rotating that forward. And that does bring his crotch more forward. Make sure we have that out of the way. Bring the arms here. They come out of this piece and rotate forward so they don't sit so far back. I absolutely love that. I feel like a lot of companies would have left them back there and it would have looked a little bit weird. Rotate this around till it's facing the right way. Rotate this around till it's facing the right way. And there you go. We've got our Seaspray in his robot mode. So if I have one complaint about his robot mode, it's nothing with articulation or anything like that. It's the fact that his arm length does feel a little bit long to me. It's not too bad, but it definitely feels a little weird. And I do think if you go like this, we don't have a ruler here to measure it, but it's a little bit taller than the ski, and the ski is already taller than him, so it's about like up to the top of the robot. And your arm length should be about equal to your height. So it does make the arm feel just a little bit too long to me. So I also wanted to point out he does come with his blue gun. It's a square peg. It just slides into his hand. It's not really held in with much of anything, but the hand's closed sufficiently tight that it's not going to fall out. So I do like that. A little close up of the head here. I do think that they nailed the head sculpt. I think it's beautiful. The light blue eyes, metallic on the silver, and then the yellow paint for the mouth. It looks really, really nice. And I know it doesn't really show it, but if you wanted him to look like that, here's kind of an idea of what that would look like, which also I think looks pretty nice. And the one thing I really like about this guy is even though he's got like the little gut on him, he doesn't really look like he's dumpy per se. He still looks like heroic and strong somehow, which is kind of the way I rationalized the Fans Toys one. Like the Fans Toys one is super skinny, and I just kind of said, well, yeah, he's kind of heroic, right? But I mean, honestly, this one absolutely destroys it in aesthetic and personality, honestly. So real quick for a size comparison here, obviously we got the Fans Toys one on the left. We've got the Masterpiece Bumblebee, and then we've got an MP car. And the one thing I will say is I feel like the Fans Toys one does kind of fit that mini-bot aesthetic more, but XTRANSBOTS has given us the Cosmos, who I believe is about the same size. And as long as he's smaller than the car, I'm kind of okay with it, right? So it just gives a little personality on the shelves, and the mini-bots just need to be smaller than these guys. And I think that works. Your mileage may vary though, of course. So I also wanted to throw out there, here is the XTRANSBOTS Cosmos, and this to me is, this is the best Cosmos that's out there. And I think, given how big he is to your mini-bots, like this works. They're like the same height overall. So if you have this guy, you're gonna have no problems with this guy. So let's get Seaspray back to his vehicle mode and let's get out of here. I almost said robot mode, you know how I love to do that. So we go ahead and put it so the little kind of floaty parts are out to the side here. We'll go ahead and rotate these back. We can go ahead and unpeg these. And we'll rotate the chest piece around, and I'll open this and do this so I just don't forget it, because you don't need to. Actually maybe you do need to because of the way the head goes up. I'm not quite sure, but it's something that I could see myself forgetting. Take this part. This I think is probably the hardest part, is trying to pull this back open. It's not that it's difficult per se, it's just that there's no real good place to grip it. And then from here, you do want to get these little pieces rotated back up and in place. And that's how you'll make sure that you also have the correct width here. And you can actually, you don't even really need a tool. You can kind of put all this stuff out of the way and get under there with a finger and push it up. Maybe, if your fingers are, you know, a little smaller than mine, I guess. There we go. And that makes sure you have the right space there. Take the head and rotate it forward and close that up. This here is going to come down, and you'll know you have things right because this little like spine goes into there on each side. It's hard to do, I guess, right now because it will kind of start pushing the center together, but you just kind of loosely need it there. Then bring the fists so they're up like that. Coming down to the feet here, go ahead and open this back piece up, pull this around, and you don't want it all the way around yet. There we go. And then clip this closed, perhaps. There we go. Kind of get this piece out of the way just so you have enough room to swivel up that panel. Bring that down in place and drop the knee back in. And then bring this piece up and over all this plastic. And this little tab here should find its way into this yellow piece if you have it secured properly, like that. So one more time on this side, unpeg this, bring out the wheel here. Make sure it's down like that when you rotate the wheel around, just to make it easier. Bring this piece down. Actually, sorry, bring it out of the way and get this panel up. You actually can transform it without putting this piece up, so if it looks a little weird, that's probably why. Bring this up and over all the little pieces here. There we go. Compress the leg like so. Once again, make sure that we have these little pieces in their little side grooves here. And then take this, and it should collapse on in, and the fists should go into the front like pontoons here. And all this should peg together. And you can just close these pieces up. And one thing I forgot to show a little earlier is there is a spot right here for the gun. I think it goes this way. Just like that. It's not the best connection, but it will hold the gun in place and store underneath. So yeah, this is the XTRANSBOTS Neptune. If you don't have it, I think it's highly worth checking out. I mean, this is definitely, in my opinion, the definitive Seaspray at this point. I can't see replacing it. I know Fans Toys, I always get Fans Toys and Fans Project confused. Fans Toys has Fans Toys. And see, now I started thinking about Fans Hobby. Fans Toys has a version 2 coming, and like honestly, like if any of you guys are watching this, like really, it's okay to lose once in a while. I wouldn't revisit Seaspray because this guy is so reasonably priced by XTRANSBOTS that, I mean, you're gonna only get the die-hard Fans Toys people buying your version 2 Seaspray. Like, that money, I really think, should just be better spent going into new molds. So, way to go, XTRANSBOTS, you guys absolutely killed this. I love it. So, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'll see you next time.